Reiki, it's the constant enigma. We never can really fully understand it, but it's something that speaks to us in this realm of healing.
We can't guarantee specific results with the system of Reiki, which is why often the research or the direction of research into the system of Reiki is not right.
Welcome, friends, to the Reiki Women Podcast, an exploration into the profound depths of the system of Reiki from a Japanese spiritual perspective and how that relates to our modern lives.
We are keeping it real to Reiki's origins, challenging the New Age stereotype that things like crystals, chakras, and angels are authentic aspects of the system. I'm Bronwen Logan, and when I'm not writing best-selling books about the Japanese system of Reiki, 75,000 readers and counting, I'm here debunking outmoded Reiki myths and coaching individuals and groups through my website, Reiki with Bronwen.
And I'm Michaela Daystar, lead teacher and weaver of Heartscapes Reiki, connecting the dots between Reiki and environmental and social justice, because our individual healing cannot be extracted from healing relationship with the collective and with the land.
And I'm Carrie Varela from the Reiki Healing Society, here to help you transform your Reiki practice into a thriving, prosperous business. Because while passion fuels your purpose, it's time to make it sustainable, authentic, and beautifully you. We're three women diving into the heart of Japanese Reiki. We're building a community that centers women's voices and inspires well-being. We're not just for women, we're for everybody. Come join the conversation.
Hi, and welcome to Reiki Women Podcast. It's just me and Carrie today. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Bronwen.
We thought we'd have a little chat about something versus something, and it's healing versus curing. You could say it doesn't matter, they're just words, but actually they have different meanings. I think we should chat about how these different meanings relate to what we do in the system of Reiki. Do we cure? Do we heal? Do we do a bit of both? What do you think, Carrie?
I have a lot to say about this topic. I truly believe in we can heal. Healing does tend to have this expectation of curing being something that magically fixes whatever it is that we're trying to heal and gives us new outcomes. I think it's important to question our sense of reality or our sense of definition around the word healing or curing. I have a quote that I really love, and I think it has a great way of fleshing out these differences between healing and curing. This quote is from Alberto Villado. Curing is the business of medicine, and it involves eliminating symptoms, while healing is crafting of a healthy lifestyle by eliminating the cause of suffering and disease and then creating a meaningful destiny. Ours is the practice of healing. Healing attends to the soul and the spirit. For me, I've had to let go of some expectations around healing. Reiki has the capacity to help us heal. I think the big one for me is that I was in a car accident 5-6 years ago, and I have sometimes debilitating low back pain. It has really shifted my relationship with my body. It's something that I manage quite often through Reiki and through movement and through yoga, through Western medicine as well. But I don't have this expectation that giving Reiki to my low back is going to cure my low back. It actually has helped my low back because a lot of the times the things that are related to why I'm in pain is because my muscles are tight, and Reiki helps me find relaxation. I find that my low back pain often is tied in with my menstrual cycles. And I found lately in particular that I'm really enjoying giving myself Reiki or placing my hands on my belly when I'm on my menstrual cycle, and that it is helping me quite a bit to just kind of calm my body down while I'm in that time of the month. None of that is fixing me, but it's helping me manage something that is a chronic issue in my life. That's really where I feel healing dwells for me. It's not about trying to magically erase that this is happening. I could do that with more invasive medical techniques, surgery, something like that, doing nerve ablations, going to a pain doctor. All of these things are things that I've explored to help me cure the issue. But really, it's about managing it. One of the ways that Reiki also helps me manage it is to be kind to myself and compassionate to myself. So that when I'm having a rough low back day, I take a break. I have moments where I relax intentionally, or I remember that I have this amazing thing that's helped me so much with this massage table that I have. It's a beautiful Chinese invention. It's called the Migang massage table. I'm obsessed with this thing. It has these jade heads, and it's kind of like when you go and get your nails done. Well, it's like that, but lying prone, and it's an incredible technology that helps me get traction in my low back, release that muscle tension. It's something that really helps me manage that health issue in my life. Reiki sometimes is just the nudge that tells me to do the right things for myself. I also love how you often define healing, Bronwen, as healing as wholeness.
Yeah.
I'll just pass the baton over to you.
Yeah, that would have been the first thing I would have said, is healing is being whole. And what that means to be whole. In reality, our bodies are always working at being whole. What that means is that we have our body, our physical body, our mind, and our breath always coming into harmony with each other. The more that we work with the system of Reiki, the more that we allow all the things that get in the way of that, which is what you were saying, taking away stuff. We just need to let go of things and allow this freedom to come back to us of natural harmony of body, mind, and breath. That for me would be moving into healing. I think that we're always trying to move into it, but often we have so much shit in the way that we just can't see it, we can't feel it, we can't do it. With the system of Reiki, what we're doing is we are moving into this healing space consciously with awareness. As we move into it, we allow the extraneous things that we don't need to release their grip on us. In doing so, we can start to feel that sense of balance, of wholeness, of healing. For me, that's healing. To cure is, as you said, it's more of a medical thing for me. You know, we can't guarantee specific results with the system of Reiki, which is why often the research or the direction of research into the system of Reiki is not right. But if we move that research away from curing, for example, if you thought every time I have a Reiki treatment, my blood pressure will be at well, that's not the case, because if we think about what I was saying, there's things that we are allowing ourselves to release, the things that we don't need, that are holding, gripping onto us, that are in the way of our natural sense of wholeness. Each moment in our lives is going to be different as to how much we feel today that we can release that. I saw some really interesting research into the system of Reiki because it was different. It's up on my website. Have a look, reikiwithbronwen.com. I thought it was really interesting research because what it did was it said, if you were to have a Reiki treatment, what state of mind are you in before the treatment, and how does that affect what that treatment does? It said that people who had a lot of serious psychological issues, to holding on to more painful things in their life, in that moment, they found it more difficult to move into that healing space and get the benefits of the Reiki treatment. I am obviously paraphrasing seriously here, but that's more or less what it was saying. Isn't that interesting? It's not about when we do Reiki, this happens. It's about everything else that's going on in our life. And actually, I also just wrote a blog about that. And I called it How Not to Be a Foreigner to Yourself. And it's this thing that the more that we do great things for ourselves, the more that we bring more awareness to our life as Reiki practitioners, we're starting to understand ourselves better. We're sitting in that healing space more. well, it becomes more familiar to us, because often what is familiar to us is this horrible, angry, messed up person, right? And as I said, research shows if we're sitting in that space, it's more difficult to move into the freedom of harmony, wholeness, healing. The more that we actually work on ourselves, the more that that becomes our familiar space of being. If we know that as home, not the angry, horrible us, but if we start to really focus more on working on ourselves and knowing ourselves as the better us, then when we have a Reiki treatment, we can more easily go, oh, I'm sure you've experienced that, Carrie, when you have a Reiki treatment, because you know that space, you know what it feels like. When you lie down, it's so much quicker for you to move into that space. I think those are really interesting things about how we move into a healing space. It's not a curing space, because we have so many things that affect who we are in each moment. And it will depend each day. Some days, maybe I am in that angry, horrible space, and some days I'm not. Hopefully, I'm less in that angry space the more that I get to know myself as a better, more whole person.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You
Mm.
know, I think healing as wholeness, I think it's a beautiful and meaningful definition of what the expectation of healing is, right? Versus curing. I think it speaks so loudly to the interconnection between our mental and emotional bodies to our physical body. When our mind is full of tortured thoughts, when we're working through incredible emotional pain, there's this resonance in our body, and we feel that. And that can contribute so much to our physical health. From the yogic perspective, it's very clear healing comes from the spiritual body, mental body, emotional body, and physical body being in balance with one another. Right? When there's a disturbance in any of these, the spiritual, mental, emotional, it all comes down. The bottom line is the body. For healing to take place, it actually comes from these outer layers first. Healing comes from all different directions. When we heal the body, like let's say if you had a serious health issue like cancer, you go through the process of healing the body, but the imprint of that experience on our emotional, mental body can't be denied. Working intentionally with healing that aspect of ourselves too, it would be life changing for anybody who've experienced cancer. Cancer is an incredibly toxic experience. It's incredibly impactful in our mental and emotional
Absolutely.
health.
Yeah.
Back to your definition of healing as wholeness, I've really experienced that in my own personal life. I've been praying, Reiki is prayer to me in a lot of ways too, but praying for my relationship for I don't know how many years. Help us heal our relationship and our dynamic between us, and the struggles that we've had and the challenges we have. Important astrological cycle, I kind of it magnified that intention, and I got a very clear answer back from the universe that I was not prepared to hear, and I did not want to hear, but the answer was no. There wasn't healing for us in the dynamic that we had, and we went through a divorce. And it spurred a very traumatic rupture of what I considered to be my wholeness. The wholeness was my family structure. That was incredibly painful. I've come to learn lately that relationships can go through this process of rupture and repair, or breaking apart, in order to find that sense of wholeness. What my divorce has taught me is that if my mind is attached to an unrealistic expectation of wholeness being this family unit that we manifested, I was a part of, but now it has changed. Like I have to change my definition of wholeness too. I have to find that wholeness within me. But lately, one of the really big blessings that of healing that's been coming to me is feeling a sense of wholeness with the family unit that I have. It's a different family structure. It's not what I ever really wanted or
Yeah.
expected out of life, but it's what life has given me. I can choose to take that or leave that. But if I continue to live in this reality where wholeness is not my current reality, I'm going to suffer. It's going to cause me emotional pain, um, and mental anguish. Now, this life lesson learned hit me harder than I expected last week when I lost my dog suddenly. And it was this other massive rupture of this family unit that I've had. My dog has been with me for 13 years. And losing him, I don't feel whole in that. But I know that he's gone. And I'm actually feeling this repair happening on a really much faster pace now in this experience. Is that I've really, one of the gifts of it, the gift of wholeness, is that my new family unit without my dog is still whole. I'm still whole. And there's this intrinsic wholeness of the universe. My dog is still whole. He had the whole of his life, and now he's being held in the mystery where Reiki comes from these spiritual realms. I can't touch him, I can't see him, but I can feel him in my heart. That's the same with Reiki. I can't touch it, I can't see it, but I feel it in my life. It's demonstrated its efficacy, it's demonstrated its healing capacity in so many different unique ways. One of the biggest things that I've learned is that it often doesn't come attached to the specific expectation that I have of it. No, this is going to be the solution. Sometimes it's just shifting of how I think about things that creates the healing, that creates that sense of internal wholeness.
Usui said that everything in existence has healing power. That's from his little introduction in an old Japanese manual, and they're said to be his words. So really that sits at the base of everything that we're talking about here. I think that we are always trying to heal. I truly believe that. We have this sense of, as he said, everything has this healing quality in us. It's just that sometimes it's more difficult than at other times for us to know. And the more awareness that we have, the better that becomes. And the thing is that that process, though, of knowing that healing isn't always good. Is it? I mean, it isn't necessarily something that's going to be a good experience as we move into healing. I think that's always us searching out gratification, but gratification isn't healing. Expectation, expecting how things can be actual roadblocks to healing. If we can let go and sit in the moment and sit in how things are just in this moment, how it is, then we have a glimpse of that wholeness. You talked about the mind, mental and emotional. The mental emotional is this idea of kokoro, heart and mind. And you talked about it sitting in the body. That is the pure Japanese thought, even though I think you might have been talking about yogic thought, but that pure sanmitsu, it is joshin kokyu, it is the practice that we use to purify the mind and the heart through our deep belly, through the hara, and through that core, that strength, and bringing that down into that space and letting the mind and the heart to sit there for a moment and to really experience what it means for this blending of these elements together. And I think that's why we love doing the practice so much, because it helps us sit in that space of wholeness, whatever that wholeness is, if only temporarily. But it does give us that memory and sparks that memory of what that is. And so the more we do it, the more we can move into it.
So true. So true. Reiki it's the constant enigma. We never can really fully understand it, but it's something that speaks to us in this realm of healing, right? Of this space where maybe the suffering won't cease. Maybe that root cause won't cease, but how we look at it can be
Fit in it.
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times curing also comes in part and parcel with changing our lifestyle. So I always think too of some of my clients that I've got to work with who had a serious health issue. I don't know, Reiki might not have helped them cure it. They actually had a lot more motivation to exercise, to eat well, to do the things that might be a part and parcel of a major health issue.
Yeah.
That would require us to, like, think if you became diabetic, you'd have to completely change your diet. And that is a really big challenge for anybody who's diabetic. It's a lot to tailor your whole life to a different diet that's really not very well supported in restaurants and even food products and so forth. So it's to have that motivation, that energy, that focus on doing the right things for our body, even when it's not easy. The only other thing I would say too about this is that healing can be very uncomfortable. It requires us to sit with that suffering and work with it until we can transform it. We can measure whether or not the healing is working by how we've changed our mind about it, how we've shifted our own internal dialogue about it. When we can measure it from that, there's so much measurable growth that you can see how we can shift our internal experience of our life and the things that cause us to suffer.
I think well-being is always what I've always said, is that sort of that's the direction that we need to consider if we're thinking about healing versus curing. We're really looking at our well-being and that we're still going to die. Curing says to me that we're never, ever going to die sort of feeling, isn't it? It's got this thing like well, we'll get to a point and it's at that point you are cured. And as far as I see with this world and my experience of it, we are constantly experiencing new things, and some of them support us in our growth and some of them don't. So we need to listen, be aware of what's happening to us, take the time and the space to be with ourselves and to know these feelings of balance and wholeness that come our way. When we work with the system of Reiki, we start to do better things for ourselves. And so what am I doing to make that experience happen? And how can I bring more moments of this balance into my life? And I do think it gives us that opportunity to know that more.
That's so true.
Yeah.
When we're going through something, we can find that state of balance. It's emotional regulation. It's a beautiful feeling, and to know it is to be able to steer our way back to it again and again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that really speaks meaningfully to what healing really is.
Yeah. When you talked about your personal story, it's like you just finding balance, isn't it? It's a balance that works for you in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. An emotional relationship rupture, it can take quite a period of time, but I can find little pieces of balance in a new day. And then, then it becomes more and more of my life. It's a journey to get there too. Sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes I'm not there.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And once again, is there an end point to all of this, right? Doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for chatting with me today. Nice for us to be able to talk about these things. Let's all move back into that space of balance and healing as often as we can and see if we can get that to be more the dominant part of our lives. Thanks for everything. Remember to like us, put it in your notifications, and you will get a notification the next time our podcast comes out. At the moment, we're busy recording podcasts for January for our Radiance series, our new series, which is all about animals. And we've got some wonderful recordings coming up for that. We hope you'll be looking forward to listening to and watching with us. Until next time, lots of love. Bye.